All right, so we had a huge content update for the 14 days of summer, and it includes a bunch of buffs, some unvaulting, and some vaulting. Now, the background gameplay is from my 10-year-old son, Nolan. This was him playing on his Galaxy account. As you'll see, he's using Builder Pro and a higher sensitivity than me, so it's not me, that is my son. I just thought I'd put that out there because he wanted to showcase some of his gameplay. So let's talk about this update. So right off the bat, we got the new Revolver added to the game, and this is available in gold and purple rarities. That's epic and legendary. Now, unfortunately, it's another medium ammo weapon, and it holds 6 rounds. Now, the purple one does 63, and the gold one does 66 damage per shot, so pretty powerful. And it's got a headshot multiplier of 2, so over 120 damage if you hit the head. Not too shabby. I haven't really toyed around with it enough to see if it's worth carrying, but with those damage numbers, I think it would be pretty nice in close quarters, almost like a Flintlock with more rounds. Now, oddly enough, they vaulted the rare tactical assault rifle only, just the rare one. And the reason they give is with the unvaulting of the suppressed SMG, which we'll talk about in just a second, they wanted to make sure loot distribution in this class of items was well distributed. That was a direct quote. Now, they also vaulted impulse grenades, the pirate cannon, and Rift to Go. I have no idea why they vaulted the Rift to Go, one of my favorite items in the game, especially because you could use it and do that item glitch, I guess you could call it, where you grab an item as you use the Rift to Go. So basically, it was a get out of jail for free card, plus you could grab an item. Now, I don't know why they also vaulted the pirate cannon. That's very strange. But the impulse grenades, as you'll soon see, had a reason to be vaulted because they unvaulted the shockwave grenade. Definitely one of my favorite mobility items. It blasts you sky high and you don't take any fall damage. Now, they also unvaulted the uncommon and the rare pump shotguns. Everyone cried when these got vaulted, and yet here we are midway through Season 9 and they're already back. Now, here's what they had to say about it. There's been a lot of feedback around the tactical shotgun and combat shotgun's effectiveness. We're experimenting with a world where the pump shotgun joins the current shotgun lineup. So now we have the combat shotgun, the tac shotgun, and once again, the pump shotgun. And based on these patch notes, they haven't done anything to the damage. And I mention this because I already saw a pro Fortnite sissy Barbie girl player saying the pumps are terrible now, GG's. The pros in this game, they just drive me to drink. They're such crybabies. I'm sorry if I offend you with this, it's truth. Now, the real question is, would you rather have a combat shotgun that shoots incredibly fast and does moderate damage, or these pump shotguns, which we all know how effective they are in extreme close quarters combat? One thing's for sure, you probably don't want to pick up the tac shotgun, but I'll mention that in a minute, it got a little bit of a buff. So next up, as I mentioned earlier, the suppressed SMG returns. And it says, we feel the suppressed SMG can fill a complementary role to the Burst submachine gun as a viable alternative. Viable alternative, my butt. Anyone who's anyone will pick up a suppressed SMG over a Burst SMG. Now, the Burst SMG, as I'll talk about in a second, did get a buff, but we all know how great the silenced SMG is, and it has first shot accuracy. Then they unvaulted the common, the uncommon, and the rare revolver. So now there's 5 revolvers in the game, all the way from common to gold. That's crazy. Now, for the tac shotgun, one of the worst weapons in the game currently, it says they reduced the floor loot rate from 8.19 to 5.4. So these were everywhere before. It was so hard to find a combat shotgun. Now they decreased that just a little bit. And at the same time, the only buff they gave it was an increased headshot multiplier from 2 to 2.25. Instead of doing 18 damage in close quarters, it'll probably do like 24. Now, it's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. Now let's talk about the buffs to the Burst SMG. First of all, as you probably were aware, it was everywhere. So they reduced the floor loot from 5.03% to 3.1%. So you shouldn't see it as often now, hopefully. And they also reduced its chest spawn rate from 18.66, that's pretty darn high, to 10.32. So again, hopefully you don't pull as many Burst SMGs now. Now, as for the balance adjustments, they increased the base accuracy by 13.6%. If you used this before, you probably missed a lot of shots. So hopefully with this buff to the accuracy, it'll be more precise. Now, likewise, the jumping accuracy penalty was reduced from 15% to 5%. So if you jump and shoot with this weapon, you're going to be much more accurate now. And the sprinting accuracy penalty was reduced from 30% to 20%. So that's where you're sprinting and firing at the same time, and that was also reduced. So a little more accuracy is given in that regard. Now, lastly, they increased the base damage from 23/24/25 to 24/25/26. So 1 point of damage for each of these Burst SMGs. Will that make a difference? Probably not. And the reason for all these buffs, they say the Burst SMG was dropping a bit too frequently for the role it was intended to fill. Additionally, it was underperforming when compared to similar items. Yeah, that's because everyone picked up a drum gun over this piece of trash weapon. So hopefully with these buffs, it's a little better. Next, they nerfed the semi-auto sniper rifle drop rate. So from floor loot, it's reduced from 0.65 to 0.44%. You should have hardly ever seen these on the floor, and now it's going to be a little more rare. And likewise, from the chests, it's reduced from 5.1% to 3.4%. Nobody loved grabbing one of these at the start of a game from a chest. And now it's going to be a little more harder to do so, thank goodness. Now, sadly, they also reduced the Flintlock Pistol from the floor loot. So it was 1.97%, now it's going to be 1.32%. I loved finding these on the ground, and now it's just going to be a little more rare. Now, I didn't see this one coming, but they increased the rifle clip size on the infantry rifle only for the gold and purple ones. And it went from 8 to 10. So this is a much welcome change. I didn't see hardly anyone but Ninja. Ninja and myself use these. I love this weapon, especially the gold and purple ones. But the huge drawback, of course, is that low clip size, and now it's up to 10. So that's really useful. Another odd buff is that they buffed the minigun. So they increased the damage from 18/19 to 20/21. Now next, they nerfed the drum gun. I think we all saw this coming, but they reduced the clip size from 50 rounds to 40 rounds, and they also reduced its fire rate from 9 to 8, so it's going to shoot slower and you're going to have less ammo. For this one, they said, since the unvaulting, the drum gun has outperformed in unintended areas. This adjustment should help create more counterplay in combat. Now the last weapon buff was for the heavy assault rifle, so the AK. And they increased the damage from 36/38/40 to 38/40/42. So 2 points of damage for each rarity. That should be beneficial. And they said the heavy assault rifle usage rates aren't quite what we'd like. That's because nobody ever picked them up, because all the other assault rifles were much better after they nerfed the crap out of it. And then they said this adjustment to damage is intended to offset some of the downsides of the weapon. Now lastly, they buffed the supply llama. They increased the material count from 200 to 350 of each. So now you get 350 wood, 350 brick, and 350 steel, as opposed to 200 of all. And if you remember when llamas first came out, you used to get 500 of each. So we're not quite back to where we were, but we're in a happy medium. Now I didn't see this coming, but they also increased the total number of llamas per match from 3 to 5. Imagine landing somewhere and seeing 5 llamas. That would be insane. I never saw 3 back when there were only 3, but now you can potentially see 5. That's awesome. And in fact, in Season 9, I think I've only found 2 llamas probably in over 200 games. No exaggeration. They seem to be super rare this season. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But hopefully with 5 on the map at a time now, you'll see a lot more. So that's all there is to it for the Battle Royale changes from this patch update. And of course, every day for the 14 days of summer, we're going to get a new unvaulted weapon. Today, as of this video, it's the LMG. But after the day is over, that'll be vaulted again, and we'll get a new weapon the next day. So let me know in the comments, what did you like most about this patch update? For me, it's got to be the buff to the supply llama. However, the buff to the AK was also pretty nice, and they buffed the Burst SMG, so I'm anxious to try that out. I mean, this was a great update. They brought back the pump, they buffed some of the crappy weapons that hardly anybody used, they unvaulted a bunch of things which nobody saw coming, especially the pump, obviously. But there were some downsides to this patch, namely the fact that they vaulted the Rift to Go, one of the best items in the game. Not sure what their reasoning behind that was. They didn't mention in the patch notes. So again, let me know in the comments, what do you think of this patch? Hopefully this new revolver is good. We still haven't seen that brand new shotgun that's coming out. It's supposed to be like a drum shotgun. We have not seen that yet, but since we got the revolver, I'm anticipating it coming soon. But then again, since they unvaulted the pump, that would make 4 shotguns. Maybe they'll vault the tac. I don't know. But since they just buffed it, who knows what they're doing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this update video. Have fun on the 14 days of summer.